Formal job not increasing, yet hawkers are being evicted. Is this development or an economic self-destructive decisions? We will discuss on this point very deeply. Hello, Namaskar, Salam. I am Mostafijur Rahaman, a political strategist. Welcome to the third episode of our special series, Hawker Evictions versus Economic Reality. This video is for those who wants to advance their society or see India become a developed nation. In the last two episodes, we discussed the contributions of the informal sector to the GDP and the importance of the liquid cash flow chain. Today, we will address an argument frequently made by everyone's from that urban upper middle class citizens, that the arguments is going like this. You often know about such kind of things. Look at the street of London's, New York or Paris. There are no hawkers there. So why should there be hawkers on the street like Kolkata and other district of West Bengal? Why we want to become a developed? Why? That they often said that if we want to become a developed, we must clear this footpath. They often say like this. Today, as a political strategist, I want to explain why these comparisons with the developed country is not only incorrect but also completely unscientific and economically harmful. Let us examine the fact and data. Economic runs on number, not wise. So that's a very important we need to discuss. When you compare Kolkata with or other district with New York's, you are essentially comparing an apples with a motorcycle. These are two completely different economic ecosystems. Okay, let us look at the same international economic indicators. I want to share with you very important things that you might understood, that countries like annual per capita, which countries has that annual per capita, and formal employment ratio. That's each and every people should know about it. Okay, so USA, if you go and check it out, that approximate $85,000 per capita GDP is right now in USA. If you go and check it out, that formal employee ratio, there is 95%, around 95% people working in organized sector. It means out of 100 people, 95 people are doing formal jobs in America. If you go and check it out, UK, do you know how much per capita GDP is? $50,000 approximate. If you go and check it out, their formal employment ratio, there is 92%. Okay, so if I'm talking about India, what is that? India is a annual per capita, because we are developing nations, they are developed nations. Okay, if we are when we are developing nations, our per capita GDP is $2,800. Okay, $2,800. So if you go and check it out, there our formal employment ratio, there is 10 to 12%. Formal jobs are there, 10 to 12% people are doing. 12 out of 10 within 10s 100 peoples are working, 10 to 12 peoples are formal jobs. So what does this data tell us? In developed countries, most peoples have formal jobs, employees identifications, provident funds, and guaranteed monthly salary. Therefore, they do not need to become street vendors. However, in India, where formal employment opportunity remains limited, more than 85% peoples depends on self-employment. Please try to understand. And the informal economics for survivals. For their survivals, you know that self-employments, how much there? 85%. A significant, you know that a significant portions of these populations earns or living through street vendors or through hawkers. If you launch evictions, eviction drives without first creating developed countries level income or formal employment opportunity, simply questions arise, that people are shouting, how will these people survive? People are shouting like this, how these people are surviving. Try to copy the model of developed countries without first building the necessary economic foundations is a formal policy of that would be a bankrupt if you do without formal foundation of policy, and you just doing bulldoze the old type of informal sector. It's going to be very dangerous. If you remove these hawkers from the street, it's going to be very dangerous. Consequences would happen in economy in India. We might not be understood, but internally it's going to be very bad things would happen. This historical reality of New York, many peoples who cited New York or London's and examples are unfamiliar with their history. I hope you know that about the New York. Look at the New York Lower East Side in the early 1900s. Thousands of people sold clothes, fruits, vegetables, and daily necessary from this, push through these push carts on the street. Very similar to what we are seeing today around Kolkata and West Bengal and other states. Other times, America authorities did not violently remove these vendors. They did not bulldoze them. They understand that for millions of immigrations arriving from Europe, street vendors was one of the few available means of survival. They knows about it. Later, as the American industry expand, per capita income increase, and better paying factory jobs become available, many vendors naturally move into the formal sector. In other words, the transformations occurs through economic developments, not through forceful evictions. Try to understand these things, What happens if evictions continue without alternative? Let us consider a practical example. Suppose a middle class employees or college students buy a tiffin from 40 rupees, or or a shirt from 200 from a street vendors during their daily commute. If all hawkers are removed, that same persons may be forced to buy from air-conditioned restaurants or shopping mall, when the same product could cost 2 or 3 times more. As a result, the cost of living increased sharply. Middle class households have less disposable income. Consumer spending, no others goods declines. Local economic actively slow down. Therefore, hawkers evictions is not just a problem for hawkers; it can be directly affect the purchasing power of ordinary families. Okay. So, as a political strategist, my position is clear. Instead of blindly copying developing countries' policies, should be based on local economic realities. My first advice would be that until formal employment and per capita income reach a sufficient level, there should be no mass evicted. There should not be bulldozed any hawkers. Instead, street vendors should be regulated through proper rules and management. Second, following international best practices designed that vending zones or like a hawker zones should be cleared. At least half of every footpath should remain clear for pedestrian peoples, protecting the right of both vendors and citizens. Third, licensed and hawkers should be brought into a large framework and charge a normal municipality fee for tax. This would be provide large protections for vendors while also increasing government revenue. So I would like to repeat one important point, that economic exists for people, not cities developed, or beauty can be sustainable if it comes at the cost of people's livelihoods. Just be strengthened before constructing higher that floors. India informal sector must be protected before the country can realistically aspire to develop nation's status. We also want clear and better organized cities, but not by depriving millions of people of their livelihoods. What is your opinions on this issue? Do you think comparing India current situations with developed countries is appropriate? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you found these discussions valuable, please share this video. See you in episode 4 of this series. There we will discuss about how alternative free evictions policy can permanently damage the employment markets. Okay, so thank you very much to listen all my descriptions. Thank you very much. Namaskar.